How you feel about Dr. Umar saying that, Eminem, he can't be a GOAT in hip hop because he's white? How you feel about him saying that?
I think that um, the root of what Dr. Umar was trying to talk about was saying, yo, if you didn't create something, if your people didn't create something, then your people can't come along and be the best of this if you didn't create it. I think that's the root of what he was saying. Um, yep. In terms of basketball, um, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Steph Curry. These names get brought up when we talk about the GOATs, but a white man created basketball. Drop the mic right there. Come on, man. Come on, man. Like nobody would deny that those are the GOATs. And guess what? All them people got in common. They all black. But James Naismith was a white man. So, uh, so I think Dr. Umar means well oftentimes, but I do think that in an effort to be so pro-black, sometimes you sacrifice some common sense for the sake of sound bites, and what sounds good to people. I think that, and I say that with love to Dr. Umar. The same thing with, I know oftentimes he talks about uh, black people not not marrying outside of their race, and if you marry outside of your race, then if you bunny hopping, snow bunny hopping, I think he calls it that you are not to be looked up to or celebrated, in the black community. But that's Dr. Umar's commandments. Uh, are we following Dr. Umar's commandments, or are we following God's commandments? We got to ask ourselves that. In an effort to want to be pro-black, we got to make sure that we are not more pro-black than we are pro-God. Because that pro-black stuff or that pro-white stuff for white people, that stuff be sounding good, and that stuff be like, yeah, I'm around a bunch of my people and we all saying this, yeah, yeah. But that stuff will have you out here doing stuff and saying stuff and subscribing to stuff that's not of God. That ain't nowhere in God's word. But y'all just saying this in the name of being pro-black or being, pro-white or something like that. When I hear Dr. Umar say that stuff, I know where he's coming from and I know what he's trying to get at, but I also don't think that Dr. Umar hates white people. Yeah, I think that Dr. Umar knows that he's an entertainer at this point. He knows that he's a person who is heavily quoted and who people look to for saying something wild that's going to get the internet buzzing. So I think he's aware of his brand. I've actually met Dr. Umar, had dinner with him before. So for sure, I don't take stuff like that personally at all. That's it. It's simply about that, man. Like this world definitely has a lot of racism in it, and it definitely has a lot of racial issues that are now leading to black people not having a sense of self-love that we need to correct for sure. But we just got to be careful how we self-correct that lack of self-love that we're dealing with. We got to be careful that we aren't saying stuff that doesn't even make sense just because it feels good to our ego. And we also got to make sure that we aren't continuing to perpetuate the actions that are proving that we don't love ourselves and doing the evil to ourselves, So we just got to be careful, man. It's a nuanced thing. I don't take the approach that we got to hate all white people. I don't know that Dr. Umar feels that way either. I think he just wants to empower black people, but I do think that sometimes the way he does it is in a way that it's not necessarily of God.